Hello and welcome to this edition of the Boob Tube Buddies podcast featuring our discussion of Netflix's Black Mirror, episode 5 of season 3 entitled Men Against Fire. I'm your host, Foxman, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host and my wife, Bethany. What's up, Bethany?
This man is on fire! Black Mirror, Men Against Fire!
Ooh, that's a good little, oh my gosh, yeah, a little hip-hop flavor there. That was good. Okay, not bad. For those of you joining us for the first time, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Reddit, or our website, www.boobtubebuddies.com. We'll make sure all your thoughts, theories, everything like that make it on air, and we love hearing from you guys, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Happy Valentine's Day, my sweet.
Okay, all right. Let's save that for off air, you little weirdo. We do have two special guests on the episode. First off, Michael, who we've already talked about, is not a guest yet. I always label him as one, but he does his Preacher Don't Preach segment.
Idiot.
Okay. But we also have Brooky Brooky Shy Shy, who is... Did you know that? You didn't know that?
No, I knew he was going to do one, but
Yeah.
I have never heard him. I'm super excited.
Yeah, he's like basically our longest running mega fan.
Aww.
Yeah, and I know that we do have another mega fan now from the UK, Mr. Atticus. I'm looking at you. You and Brooky Brooky Shy Shy definitely going to have a showdown here at some point, I think.
Too shy, shy, Brooky Brooky, shy,
I
shy.
was saying that exact same song, but he must hate it, by the way. I talked to him, and he's like, very serious guy. I mean, he's funny, but like very serious guy, so he must fucking hate all this stupid Brooky Brooky Shy Shy shit.
Why do you call him that?
Just because he's like, like a real man of the world, like, just like a sophisticate.
The thing that sucks is your nicknames are awful, but they all stick. So people
I'm
end
the
up
best
with
at
these
sticking.
terrible nicknames,
I
like
stick
Mothman.
nicknames.
Why is he called Mothman?
His father calls him Mothman now. Okay, so the first segment that we like to do on every episode of Boob Tube Buddies now is called Summon It Up in a Tweet, which is 140 characters or less that we use to summarize the episode. So, without further ado, here is Summon It Up in a Tweet.
Oh yeah, we're summon it up, just to summon it up. Summon it up, oh yeah, we're summon it up. Oh yeah, we're summon it up, just to summon it up. Summon it up and up.
Tweet.
All right, so Bethany, why don't you go ahead and fire it off?
Well, you always give me a really hard time and tell me that mine are too long. So I don't think you'll say that about this one.
Is it is really short?
New army guy gone kill roaches. Green light fucks implant. Roaches real peeps. What you gonna do?
Oh man, that is really bad. And I feel comfortable telling you that, seeing as how you wrote it literally the moment before we hit record. And mine, with preparation, is probably shittier. So here's mine. Mass is the ultimate tool of war. It takes the human out of the soldier. Stripes goes haywire and he's filled with regret. Hashtag, roaches are people too. And that is Summon It Up in a Tweet. Alright, so what'd you think? Not great, right?
No, but why do you even say that? I sound like a fucking idiot. And like, roaches gonna get it. Roaches gonna get it.
Roach gon' give it to you. Why gon' give it to you? Roach gon' give it to you. Why gon' give it to you?
Okay, so let's, one thing before we get into the episode is the director, I'm sure...
Brooky Shy Shy?
Yeah, I'm sure that this is not how you pronounce his name, but Jacob Verbruggen, or Jakob Verbruggen. I don't know how you say it.
I thought you were talking about Brooker.
He's the director of the episode, and I bring it up actually for you because he directed multiple episodes, like a half dozen of The Fall, which I know you like.
The Fall.
You don't watch The Fall?
No.
What's that show that you watched that was on Netflix?
The Killing?
There was another one on Netflix. What's the one that had the guy who was also in House of Cards?
It wasn't The Fall.
It wasn't?
No.
The Autumn?
No.
The Trip?
I don't know, but I did not watch The Fall.
All right, cool story, bro. He also did an episode of House of Cards, or multiple. So,
Is that why he cast, what's his face?
who did? Oh, Doug Stamper?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that's just a Netflix thing. Mothman and I were talking about how Doug Stamper, who is also in, and that's not the actor's name, that's
right.
House of Cards, but he's also in Taboo, and while I really like him as a character actor, like, to me, he, like, just plays well on camera. What I have come to notice, not a lot of range. His
No.
voice sounds the exact same. He basically he is him
the
put in different
slimy
clothes.
bad guy. Yeah.
He's just him put in different clothes and everything.
He does have a good voice.
He does, and honestly, good demeanor and like
Good look.
he emotes well and everything like that. Like everything works, but there is
very
zero
limited.
range.
Yeah.
But still, and you and I have talked about this before. I don't think that like to be a good actor, I don't think you have to have a ton of range. Like you just have to be able to
Nail whatever it is you're going to
exactly.
do. Yeah.
But I think to be a great actor, which I don't think a lot of people really ever climb to that level, but to be a great actor, I think you have to have range.
It's almost better to realize, you know what? I'm not a great actor. I'm a really good actor, and I'm going to do what I do well instead of trying to do all these other things and then discredit my talent by doing something that is really not in my wheelhouse.
That's fair, but I mean, do you really have to worry about discrediting your talent when you're like a C-list, like supporting? I'm not even diminishing what he does, but like as a supporting role actor, does that really matter?
I think so.
You think it does?
Yeah, I do.
Maybe it does. I mean, if I saw an actor really just suck a bag of dicks in a few movies, I'd probably have a much... that was a really crude way of saying that. Probably have a much lower opinion of them. Okay, you're right. I gotcha. All right, let's get into the episode.
Let's talk more about this.
Okay, so first off, I know you like this episode.
I do.
You like it a lot, like upper third.
Yeah, I do.
This to me is... only the Waldo moment is lower on my totem pole of things I like to watch.
Really?
Now, I love the technology. I love the topic of it. Honestly, what I think it is, and I only realize this about myself as I get older, like, I actually don't really like war movies at all.
I don't either.
Like, I didn't like Zero Dark 30. I didn't like... I don't even really like the one where they find Matt Damon at the end. What's that one called again?
Saving Private Ryan?
That's what it is. I don't even really like watching I recognize it's a great movie. I just don't enjoy it.
Ryan.
I just don't enjoy watching it. Matt Damon.
I don't like war movies either. But part of the war movies that I don't like is that there's a lot of things going. It's like it's quick. There's a lot of things going on. There's geography. There's all these acronyms for things that I don't understand. I find it hard to follow.
Like mass system.
No, but more. I like that this episode seems, this makes me sound so stupid, but a little self-contained. There's less going on.
That doesn't make it sound stupid. No, it's a
not
narrower
a ton
scope.
Right, exactly. There's not a ton of dialogue. It's very much focused on one theme, idea, and I kind of like that. It's like, okay, this all fits into a bubble. I can wrap my head around it, and it's a really cool concept. I like this episode.
I'd love to check.
And I like that there's like I'm sorry to interrupt you. That there's a scary part of it. The roaches are scary looking, and I don't think a lot of the episodes of Black Mirror necessarily have that component. There are certainly scary things about them, but to have like a real
playtest is scary.
Playtest is scary. Yes, actually, yeah, you're right. But
there's not a lot. I get what you're saying.
This is the roaches are scary.
Yeah. No, I mean I don't disagree with any of what you're saying.
And I think the acting is good.
It is. It's very good. And honestly, I think that the concepts are beautifully done and make you think. I wonder if the statistics are true about when they went back and looked at the percentage of soldiers that actually fired their guns during World War I and World War II.
If that was true?
I wonder if it is true.
That was fascinating.
It was. And even it had climbed by the time the Vietnam War happened, but it's amazing.
But they weren't kill shots.
Well, even then...
And then the people were coming back with terrible PTSD.
Yeah, but even then they were saying it had only climbed to like
85.
70 or 80% of them had actually shot their bullets at that point.
I think it was 85, but they weren't kill shots.
Okay, so where it starts off is... we get a lot of flashbacks here, and are those all completely faked?
So that's what I was going to ask you, because the scene at the end of the episode implies that it's not fake, because he goes back to that house that is all nasty looking and whatever, so, like gross. But in the first scene, you see that gorgeous woman, and she's in front of that house.
That to me doesn't mean that it actually did happen. That might just be like they have certain houses that they utilize this for, and when they implant these memories, maybe that's what they implant that type of memory, not always specifically her necessarily, and maybe not even just that house. Maybe they have like a dozen houses that they use and designate for that. And then they use them as like, because soldiers need something to fight for. They need to feel like they're protecting something at home. So that might just be another effect of the mass system.
Absolutely.
A mass effect, if you will. It's a video game.
Yeah, I know.
You got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it. And you might be right. My first impression was maybe it's not something he necessarily remembers now, but it's pulled from something from his past, this woman he had a relationship with. And maybe it's the woman in front of his childhood home, you know, like things combined to make it seem more like a homey, comfortable memory to him. But what I thought is this is a woman he has had an experience with, a relationship with. This house means something to him. That's what I thought. But, you know, you very well could be, you probably are right, and I'm wrong.
I just don't think there's any evidence one way or the other. I think it's fine to believe whatever you want with that, but we don't need to circle around it because there's no confirming it.
She's got great tits.
Okay, well, what do you want me to do?
New York boobs.
What am I going to compliment her tits here talking with you about it?
I don't really care.
Why are you going to put me in that situation?
I didn't think I was putting you in a sitch.
Just so I can have the worst Valentine's Day ever tomorrow, as you constantly remind me.
You said her tits were nice.
I'm listening back to the podcast, Adam, and I remember when you said that the orgy scene with all of her beautiful New York tits, that was your favorite part. Yeah, you're not getting any tonight. You can kiss these New York tits. Goodbye.
Yeah. That scene is stressful. I don't think that you would find that scene exciting.
What? Why would that be stressful?
All those women, like, and the music is like...
I don't get that. What is that? What is that? What does that mean?
It's the music's like a scary music. It's like crescendoing, and there's more and more of those women. They're all like rubbing on each other, and what, like, do I have to do all these women? I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have to do all these women now.
The stressful part, I think, is that it's glitching because you see like the image skipping. You know.
Well, and all those women.
All the women part would not be like you could have just a mountain of tits where you don't even know what you're jabbing your dick into, and it would be fine.
Those are the haystacks in your face.
Okay. All right. This is getting a little off. But anyway,
wait, no. The spirit is willing, but the body
is spongy and soft or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So Stripe is the main character. He goes out for his first roach hunt.
Stripe?
Yeah.
I thought it was Strike.
I'm almost positive it's Stripe, but I didn't look it up.
Okay. All right. That's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can call him Strike the whole time. I don't care.
Strike is a much cooler name than Stripe.
I think Stripe's okay.
Meh.
See, I thought that it was Stripe like the movie Stripes.
I don't know
the
what that
Army
means.
movie from the 80s. That's what I assumed. But okay, anyway.
The joke movie where they're on the airplane?
Are you thinking of Operation Dumbo Drop? Okay, anyway, so they go to the village, and I thought it was interesting later to find out, because he's asking, I think it's Doug Stamper, he's like, why, or maybe it's when he's talking to the girl, but he's saying something like, but then why do the villagers hate you too? That's right, he's talking to the girl. And she's like, because everybody told them to hate us. Like, they don't have the mass system, but it doesn't matter. Propaganda, basically. And, I mean, we see that with how people become so polarized and sucked in by the media on both right wing, left wing, everything like that. Like, I totally believe that.
Well, and when you are in the Hunger Games village, which is what it reminded me of,
Yeah.
the Hunger Games village.
District 13.
Yeah, well, no, District... Is
9?
it District 13? Whatever.
It's definitely 13.
District 9 is the prawn.
Maybe it's District
Fucking
11?
prawn.
District 12?
11.
Yeah,
what it
because maybe District 12 is the one that was destroyed before.
And then 13 is what... Yeah. There's no District 13.
I don't think there is.
Anyway, even when they're talking about the roaches, when you look back on it, they're kind of... Their eyes are darting to the side, and it's less gung-ho than the way that they're not like, oh, those fucking roaches. Yeah, the roaches got into the food. You know, it's very tentative a little bit.
I don't know. That one bitch that comes up to him, up to Stripe, off to the side, or Strike, she basically, like, prays with him about the roaches, like, to kill the roaches. So she is pretty fucking gung-ho about the roaches getting killed.
I don't remember her.
Yeah, so...
Speaking
There's a fervor there.
The girl, the blonde, the Ray.
Okay.
You recognize
when
her?
When you say blonde, I would have said Commander. Because the
not the older woman, not the ginger.
Yeah, but she's blonde. Oh, you think she's a strawberry blonde?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
talking
Okay,
about-
yeah, Ray. I gotcha.
Okay. His female cohort there.
Right.
The blonde, right. You recognize her from Orange is the New Black.
No.
Oh, yeah. She's a prisoner in Orange is the New Black. Exactly the same character. In her hair, it's like in her contract, must have French braid.
Oh, no,
From
I didn't
top to bottom.
You know, honestly, I thought when I was looking at her, I was like, oh, for whatever reason, to me, she looks like what I picture the young version of Amy Smart in The Butterfly Effect.
Oh, I could see that. I guess a little bit.
Is that her? That might be her.
That's not Amy Smart.
No. I know it's not fucking Amy Smart, but the girl who played Amy, like young version of Amy Smart, you know, because it's not like Ashton Kutcher is playing child Ashton Kutcher in the child scenes.
There's no way I could remember that or visualize what young Amy Smart looked like from the fucking Butterfly Effect.
It's a decent movie. Come on, it's the best thing he ever did.
That's what you think of, and I have a legitimate reference that this girl is in.
You're fucking killing me here. I mean, I'll definitely end up looking it up on our break. But all right, let's talk about when they first go to see.
How cool is that translator?
Oh, it's very cool.
Oh, we need that.
Yeah.
I would love that, especially in Florida.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe they do have anything that works kind of like that at all. Like that seems like that's got to happen at some point, right?
Yes, I feel like we should have that now. I just in a training that I'm in right now about if you were dealing with someone who has a different language, call this number. Then you have to wait till a translator comes on the line. Then you got a conference in the translator. It just seems so old-fashioned. It seems like we should have something like this already.
It would really help at things like United Nations.
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
what I mean?
Yeah, you just put on your little, what is that when people have cancer and they have the... Yeah, you just put one of those...
Mothman, you need to stop smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, something like that.
Mothman does not smoke cigarettes, for the record.
But they're gonna go to Heideker's.
Oh, by the way, I was completely fucking wrong. She is not the girl in that.
Oh, thank God.
So, that's cool. But anyway, glad I've staked my reputation on that. All right, so when they go see Heideker, I do like that, first off, more of the ZI. So, like, that's just more and more of, like, the universe tying together. But the ZI is actually hooked into their drone, which is kind of cool.
And it looks like the same exact drone from Shut Up and Dance.
It's just what drones look like, really.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like our nephews, they had that drone. It looked exactly like this one.
Okay, fine.
Ooh, jeez. I'm not trying to, like, put you down.
Lay
That's
off the cigarettes.
I probably shouldn't do this voice. It makes me have to cough.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they go inside the house,
Heidegger, when he's first speaking through the door,
when he's Heidegering behind the door.
Yeah, I thought, oh my God, it's what's his face? It's Heisenberg, because you just see the eyes. I thought it was what's his face. What's his name?
It did not look like Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston.
No, I did not see that.
And then you see him, and he's very ethnic. Definitely not Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, Eastern European Bryan Cranston.
Yes.
But so when they're going through the house, it actually is a little bit of a nerve-wracking part. And then when they go through like the false door behind the or the false wall behind the closet. And then they end up finding, and like you see them for the first time, and their teeth are fucked up, and like their faces are all mangled.
Like World War II people hiding the Jews?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was definitely like some Anne Frank shit up there.
I feel like nobody thought that until I said it right now.
That was a totally original thought.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was my first thought, and I just assumed that that's what they were trying to point at.
Whenever you say that, when you say it like that, it makes me sound so stupid.
I thought that that's just what they were showing us. It's like if somebody, like in a Brad Pitt movie, you know how he's always eating?
Right.
It's like if there's a scene where he's eating an apple and he's talking to Jonah Hill, and you turn him and you go, I think that's supposed to be him eating an apple right there.
Well, whenever I make an observation like, this is what I thought, and then you always say like, yeah, I think that's what everyone thought.
Yeah. I don't think that there was anything sneaky about it, is all I'm saying. Or like there was no allegory or anything like that. Like I think it was just, that's what we're watching.
Well, I thought it was an interesting observation.
It would be like if they had tattoos on their forearms and you're like, I think that that's supposed to be like a cross between like them and like Holocaust survivors.
Why am I on this podcast?
Okay, so anyway, he starts blasting the shit out of them, and go ahead.
Heidegger, when he lets them in begrudgingly.
Yeah.
It made me think of a training that I had in grad school because I am smart.
Keep going.
That you don't ever let cops in. You just don't, unless they have.
They're not cops; they're soldiers.
I know, but you don't let them in because as soon as you let them in, anything they find, you are like. I watched this video of an old lady. They found a little bit of weed in her couch cushion, put this poor old black lady in custody and took her to jail. And it was her son, her grandson, had a little bit of weed in the couch. Yeah,
and I get what you're saying, and that's definitely true. But it's a soldier, and it's a group of soldiers. He clearly is not from the same country, so they're obviously on his territory here, breaking in, doing this, and with the government mandate behind them. So there's nothing you can do. They're not going to sit there and wait for a subpoena or something like that to come through to force him to open his doors.
So they can just come in?
Yeah. I mean, the rules of war definitely, I think, would allow you to break into a house if you had reason to suspect that there was something like that going on there.
Okay.
I'm not trying to put down what you're saying. I just think that...
No, I get it. I'm an idiot.
Stop. I think that the difference between a soldier and a police officer is important to note in that sort of situation.
Never let a cop in. Don't say shit to a cop without a lawyer.
Okay. All right. So going back to the scene that I was talking about with Stripe upstairs, when they play back on that scene later... It's so sad him actually having to watch them as actual people as opposed to these monsters. Because when he's mowing them down, it's like, oh yeah, fucking Resident Evil. Like, it feels like a game. But then when you see him doing it later and he's actually, after the guy's dead and he's stabbing the body over and over and over, and it's like the squish, and at that point, he's actually smelling it. Yeah. It's pretty sickening.
What I kind of thought was cool too is the implant changes everything. And when they show them battling with the roaches seem really, really strong. Like it is a battle. They're really going back and forth with the roaches. But then when they show what really happened, the implant is making it seem as if this guy on the floor is battling with Stripe. But the guy that he killed was laying on the floor, and you see Stripe's arms being like kind of pushed back. Because the implant is making it seem as if the guy, the roach, is holding him, which I thought was cool too.
It is, it is, honestly, it's very interesting. And the way that it's done. But anyway, so that's after he kills all them, that's when he gets shot with the green thing. And it is a shame if they were going to make this green thing, if they were going to try to employ that technology, to even allow it to get out like that in this tiny little fucking... vibrator size thing, like that's too small. Like they needed to, if they had the technology to do that, they needed to have worked on trying to do it bigger to where they could actually like flash it on a larger scale to turn multiple. Because turning
I think that's easy to say. They're working off spare parts that they find from the government.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So they're trying to do something as quick as they can to make a difference.
But what kind of difference is one tiny handheld vibrator gonna make?
For a lonely woman? Okay. A big difference.
All right. I think that's actually a good point to cut to our interview with Brooky Brooky Shy Shy. Now, again, he is quite the sophisticate, so you're going to be going from Marble Mouth and Barnacle Boy over here to Brooky Brooky Shy Shy.
Wait, am I Barnacle Boy?
Yeah, I'm Marble Mouth.
God damn it.
Would you rather have been Marble Mouth?
I don't know. What are the barnacles? The boobs?
Yeah, exactly.
Barnacle
New York
boobs.
Barnacles. Okay, so anyway, here's Brooky Brooky Shy Shy. Then we'll have a quick audible ad, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Player 3 has entered the game.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today is a very special day. I have joining me tonight perhaps one of the most worthy guests we have ever had the pleasure of having join us on the show, our longest running and oftentimes most vocal fan, a man I cannot wait to take to task for his self-proclaimed love for hashtag Team Mothman, Brooky Brooky Shy Shy. What up, playa?
What's up, my man? How are you doing, Foxman, my man?
Excellent. It is really good to have you on. You have been, I mean, honestly, with us since just about the beginning. I think Stranger Things was the first one you picked up from us, right?
Yeah, I don't think I started tweeting you guys until Westworld started, but like I'm sorry once again for sending that 23 like tweet long like manifesto to you.
You know, we shouted that out on air. We tried to cover it. Of course, we had to abridge it a little bit. It was pretty lengthy.
No, it's okay. The only thing that I felt that I had the best line on, and that if anyone wants to go back through the Boob Tube Buddies Twitter and find it, it's that line where I was like, are the Nolans so obsessed with Tetris that they can't like develop a character you can love?
Yeah, I saw that.
That was my little sting, man. That was me throwing a little shade.
Well, so like this episode, I mean, propaganda is a big part of it. But what do you think, like, is the message behind this episode?
The message is it's all about genocide. There's what it gets down to is you could have this story without the entire mass system that's implanted in every soldier's head. You can have it and still have the story make sense and still be as like disturbing and suspenseful. And it isn't my favorite episode, but it's the one that most interests me because I'm a very political person. I like to look at world geopolitics and how we use our military.
Do you listen to Hardcore History at all?
Oh, Dan Carlin, of course.
Okay, yeah, because that's like right up. That's what I've been listening to on loop lately, and that's very much geopolitical. Yeah, it's just historical, and it's absolutely fascinating. And they talk a lot about, or he talks a lot about propaganda being used to basically like fire people up to get a country to agree in these democratic countries to go to war. And that's when I watched this episode, I think like that's a lot like what's happening here.
Well, it's more than just simple propaganda though, because like other episodes on the show address propaganda. There's that one that you hate, the Waldo one, which is all about the appeal to the base nature of like lowbrow humor. He's just like me, like that's sort of what it's getting at.
I mean, that's the thing is it's very realistic, but do you think that like, I guess the only part of this that hasn't actually happened in world history is this technology. Do you think that, I mean, that this is almost like a natural leap, like something like this could eventually sort of happen? Because the rest of it, the actual actions of the show, exactly like you said, you take the technology out of it and you can still have the story. Do you think like the actual technology or using something like that to kind of fuel soldiers' hatred for and the repulsion for the things that they're killing, is that a possibility?
Well, with all like the Black Mirror episodes, you can tell that like Chris Morris loves a good implant. You know, like how many stories revolve around like augmented vision reality? That's like almost half of the episodes, you know, which fuels into a theory I'll get into. I'll let you know. But what I think it is, I don't think that we need technology to get people whipped up into that furor these days, because I think what the mass system is it's a proxy for mass media or for the internet, for the way that propaganda itself is a tool.
Okay, yeah.
Because the other villagers, they don't need it. They just need the word from the higher ups. The people who actually are doing the killing, it's almost there as like a form of visual anesthesia or like a justification mechanism. You know, because if you had told them that these people had, well, you know, they're subhuman. Look at what they do. They have these political ideas. They've blown up this bridge. They've stolen from a bank. You know, you'd have people who would go in there, but they wouldn't immediately eradicate them. They would try and capture them, make them prisoners of war, or, you know, try and reason with them. In this fictional story, it's a story of genocide. So the people that doctor at the end of it, that he works for, they're just interested in eradication. It isn't even conquest at this point, because they've conquered the land. They're just there to eradicate the undesirables. That's basically what it's getting at.
You had said you had a theory a minute ago. Is that what you're saying right now with the genocide, or did you have like a different theory?
Well, my whole thing with it is I think Black Mirror takes place, even though they're separate, self-contained stories. I think it takes place in the same universe.
I like to think that that's true.
It's in non-chronological order. Like, I like to think it's like it starts out with the national anthem and the president having sex with a pig, and that creates like the mindset that the media is so powerful that it can make even like one of the most powerful people in the world do a degrading act. So from there you get like, a cartoon character becomes president. But then like what I think it is like that episode Playtest where they're testing out the augmented reality video game. I think that is like the prototype for all of the other systems that the people are using in the different episodes in Nosedive and 15 Million Merit.
Oh, okay. All right. That's an interesting theory.
But it happens like years apart, so they have different usage. You know, it's sort of like the internet started out as a military device. It was called DARPANET. And then later on in the 90s, it was released to the public and it became the internet. But to this day, there's still closed networks where security services or different government agencies from around the world, they have their own internet, but then there's the public internet that everyone else uses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
I think in the world of Black Mirror, like from the first episode to like the most futuristic one probably being like maybe 15 Million Merits might be like the furthest advanced where they've reached like a full Aldous Huxley Brave New World version, you know?
It is, yeah.
On their bikes, you know? I think that's like the most chronologically recent episode where to get to that world, the only way that you can get to that world is by genocide, like honestly.
Crushing out all resistance.
That's a sad fact, but there are people in this world that support stuff like that. That guy, Peter Thiel, who does the PayPal stuff, big transhumanist, but all of his ideas are proto-eugenics. You know, it's very disturbing to watch that like sort of emerge in our lifetime. But like the best satire sort of calls it before the shot is taken type thing. So it's up to us, I think, to recognize like these little lessons, like what he's doing, they're morality tales, but like if people are just going to consume them as entertainment without recognizing the morality within a work of art, then it's almost wasted, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, I totally agree. I don't want to go too long. Let me just ask you one last question here, just as a general thing. Like, what is your absolute favorite single episode, if you had to pick one, gun to your head, of Black Mirror?
Oh, it doesn't take too much to go and say shut up and dance. I think that one has the...
Okay. So that was the one before this one. No, two before this one.
Yeah, it has a perfect darkness to it, and it has a great tenseness to it that I think a lot of them, it has a self-propulsion mechanism within like the storytelling that it just brings everything to life, and it's like watching a car fire on all four cylinders. I think that's the one that I'd hang my hat on if I was Charlie Brooker, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, I'm going to go ahead and we'll wrap things up here, but you know that you are always welcome to come back on here, and interviews are becoming a little bit bigger part of what we do. So, I mean, if you're down for it, this will definitely have you on, you know, at least once every couple of shows. I mean, you know, I think that we're going to be doing like Taboo next, which is the Tom Hardy one coming out on FX. Maybe we have you on for a segment on that. Just you know, you've been like a big part of our growth in terms of like our first fan really reaching out early in the early days. So we just really appreciate it, man. So thank you very much for continuing to tune in and be part of the show.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me on, man. It means a lot. It's a pleasure to listen to you guys. You're doing great work. All the buddies, all the betties, man. Y'all are doing good. Catch you later, little buddy.
All right, thanks, brother, man. Fuck hashtag Team Mothman, hashtag Team Foxman forever. Have a good night, brother.
All right, peace, man.
Player 3 has left the game.
Who is it?
You have to let me in. There are monsters on the streets. Flesh-eating monsters.
What? Are you crazy? Go away.
No, please, you can't leave me out here. I will die. They will eat me alive.
Oh, shucks. Look, I can't let you in. I have a family to protect, but I can make it better.
Really? How? How could you possibly make this better?
With a coupon, of course. Go to audibletrial.com/Boob Tube Buddies and you can get a free book. A book like The Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
What the fuck is an audiobook going to do for me?
You don't know The Secret? The Secret has been passed down through the ages, highly coveted, hidden, lost, stolen and bought again for vast sums of money. It's been handed down by oral tradition and practiced by Plato, Galileo, Beethoven, and even Einstein. It gives you the power to do anything that you want.
You've got to be kidding me.
No, not at all. The Secret shows you how to realize your optimized reality. It's why I'm in a warm, cozy house with a loving family, eating filet mignon, and you're outside running from flesh-eating beasts. And it's only a 4.5-hour listen, and then you'll be good to go. Good luck!
But I don't even have headphones. Oh God, they're coming! Ah!
All right, we're back. Thank you, honestly, like we were joking about him being a sophisticated and a serious man, but all joking aside, Brooky Brooky Shy Shy has been like probably our longest running fan and probably the first person we had reaching out to us consistently with feedback and thoughts on episodes and things like that.
It's awesome.
It's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's why we do it, and so like especially in the early stages, like he was a big part of like what was keeping us going. So thank you so much, Brooky Brooky Shy Shy. Good having you on the podcast. Let's go ahead and move forward with the episode a little bit. First, before we move into the next scene, I just want to point out that Ray sings Anyone Who Knows What Love Is. Probably the shittiest rendition of it that we've heard so far.
Oh, I thought her voice sounded nice.
Really?
Yeah, I
she's
thought
like
she
basically
sounded...
yelling it at Heidegger.
Oh, that's not what I remember.
She's singing it like she's the crazy neo-Nazi girl from American History X.
I thought she sounded just as good as the dark-haired Wraith babe.
Oh my god, I can't do this with you right now.
Okay.
Okay, so Stripe's having all these fucking nightmares and everything like that, and skipping forward, he ends up going to the medical bay. They find nothing wrong with the mass implant. And so then they send him to see Doug Stamper.
I just have one quick question. I know we're trying to move forward here. When Ray says, when she's talking about the roach, and she says, you know, if that fucker got away, he probably made it to the border. Is there some border where there's a part of the nation where roaches are accepted because people know what's going on?
This is probably just a country. Like, this is probably the United States or some... so it's probably just... I mean, every country has borders, and it's not like...
So they made it to the border, and they're safe somewhere.
Yeah, it's like if a Jew escaped Nazi Germany and made it to some, sympathetic country, they're not going to be slaughtered on sight by other people.
So what I'm saying is the area that they're escaping to realizes what's going on and that they are not roaches, that they're human beings.
If they don't have the mass implant and they're not part of the propaganda network of whatever nation it is that is hunting them down, I would agree that that is most likely the case.
Okay.
But of course, we don't know if the whole world is in on this. We just don't know.
Okay.
So when he meets Doug Stamper, we get some, and his name's Arquette in this, David Arquette.
Yeah, I have that too. We're so stupid.
It's not funny. It's really not funny.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Not clever. Not the Coke part, but just the
none of it is.
David
Let's
Arquette.
just keep going.
It's awful. We're the worst.
No,
we are no Brooky Brooky Shy Shy.
No, we aren't.
He's a sophisticate. He's highbrow.
Can you please stop saying sophisticate?
A man of the world. Oh man, he truly is a man against fire.
That Brookie's on fire.
Stop. Oh my god, stop.
Brooky Shy Shy.
All right, this is off the rails. Okay, so
he's gonna get a real good sleep.
Yes, so we find out more about them implanting these memories. So even when Ray out on like the shooting range says something about, oh, you must have had a good night's sleep last night. It must be like a reward that they get. Like their mass implant is like rewards roach kills and stuff like that by giving them sex dreams.
I don't think it's a
I'm
reward.
gonna come for 20 minutes.
She's gross.
No, well, I mean, she has the voice of an angel.
You know, when girls come, it's just pee.
Bethany,
When they squirt, that's pee.
the female orgasm is a myth.
No, it's not. I don't think it's a reward. I think it's just a way to keep them pliant.
I think that if she says it like after you've done something great like that, you're gonna have an awesome night. And then when in the very next scene he goes in, Doug Stamper's like, let's get you some real good sleep tonight.
I don't think it's a
and
reward.
And then he goes back and then he has the sex dream. Of course that's what it is.
I don't think it's a reward. I think that when they experience a stressful event like having to kill somebody for the first time, they're given a dream like that to sort of keep them, let's keep everything healthy, let's keep him happy. We're going to give him this awesome sex dream to calm him down and change what he's thinking about. I don't think it's a reward system.
Okay. I definitely think it's a reward system, but I don't even think that that's so different from what you're saying. But this is one of those things that we'll end up circling around on for 10 minutes that doesn't matter that we have a different opinion on it.
I think everybody's getting it. And I think that is shown when he wakes up because something's glitching and everybody is laying down the same exact way and all their hands are twitching the exact same way. They're all given the same thing.
Absolutely, but his, where he was going to get multiple women like in the room with him, like he's going to have an orgy with the woman, it's different. It's done differently.
That would not be a reward to me.
See, you keep saying that and you keep calling it stressful, but I don't think it's meant to be even shown as stressful until you start seeing all the of the images skipping.
I'm just talking about like, so I'm in bed with you and then there's another one of you and another. I think it has different connotation when you're a woman.
Definitely, yeah, because you just have to have hands and both hands going and then mouth and I mean at some point you run out of ways
like
to stimulate.
Quadruple P.
But with the guy
Instead of double P,
it's just
PP.
nice, like you could literally just like do like a trust fall forward into
tits?
vagina and tits. Yeah. And that would be fine.
I wouldn't want to do a trust fall and do dicks.
Well, honestly, you wouldn't want to do a trust fall with a boner into anything either. It's a fucking frenulum snap waiting to happen. But okay, so this is when they end up going to the place where everything fucks up. So the one commander lady, she gets killed. Stripe's thing is fucking up left and right.
I liked that commander lady. I thought she did a really good job with Heidegger trying to talk to him about,
yeah, she was real.
Yeah, she was good.
She was good. Because Ray is like definitely got that itchy trigger finger, which
she is posturing all the time.
Whereas
she's irritated.
This commander lady is definitely just more professional. Really,
Jessica
is what
Chastain?
It is. That's not who it is.
Bryce Dallas Howard?
That's not who it is either. She's not nearly as redheaded as either of those people.
Or good looking.
Okay. Anyway, so she gets fucking brained, and then they end up making it into the building, and Stripe now is just seeing these as people, and Ray is gunning them down, and he's like, Ray, what did you do?
So did you know what was going on at that point the first time you watched it?
It's hard to say, but I think so, yeah.
I think I did too.
I think that this was the part where I really started to understand it.
But beforehand, you did not.
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I think that this is the reveal scene, at least as I recall it. Now, because this right here that we just watched, it was our second time watching it months and months after. So I'm not 100% certain, but I think so. But at this point is when he knocks Ray out, and she shoots him, though, one time, and he makes it out with the girl. And her son. And her son, or whoever the child was. Because she doesn't actually refer to him as her son. She said,
some kid.
My name was, Svetka, and his name was Nikola. But so when they book it out of there at least was some precedent set for her to be able to track them, because they talk about like I grew up tracking deer back in Tennessee, and right? Isn't that how she sounds?
No, but the same. Yeah, I mean that's the gist of what she was saying. She doesn't have that southern accent though.
Yeah, and. It was very fortunate, I thought, that when he passes out at the wheel that they didn't get into an accident.
Yeah, and I would not have helped him.
You wouldn't have helped him?
If I were Svetlana?
Yeah.
No. I would have taken his weapons and gone to my hidey hole.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Especially if I had a kid with me.
Yeah, that'd probably have been I think I probably would have done the same thing.
You would have helped him?
I think that, I don't know. Yeah, I probably would have left him, actually.
Even when she was helping him, I thought, there's no way that a woman who has to take care of a child would do that. You would grab the weapons because you don't know whatever the fuck happened with him, and you know that girl's going to follow him.
Yeah.
He has an implant. It's trackable. No, I would leave him. I might even kill him and then take the weapons and first aid kit and hide in the hidey hole.
Yeah, I guess so. And then, of course...
Cut his dick off and save it for me and Nikolai to eat later.
Of course, when they go into the hidey hole, you just know... first off, she tells the story, about how at first there were the blockades and then the tests of them, and then there was the registration, and basically how it devolves. First off, it started with the Muslim ban, and then it started with the wall.
And this is our country. Is that not what you were thinking when you were watching it?
Okay, let's not get political here. But of course, that's what anybody watching is thinking. Actually, instead of us getting preachy, why don't we let the expert do it? All right, we're going to kick it over to Michael for his segment, Preacher Don't Preach.
Preacher Don't Preach.
And now, here's Mike.
Hello, little buddies, and welcome to another episode of Preacher Don't Preach. As always, I'm your host for these. My name is Mike. You can call me the philosopher, apparently, these days. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out Mothman and Nathan on the Boob Tube Buddies Legion podcast. You'll see what it is, and I highly recommend it. Great show, great podcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Men Against Fire, the penultimate episode of Black Mirror. This is actually is weird. When I first started watching Black Mirror on Netflix, my Netflix automatically kicked me to season 3, episode 6, and then 3, episode 5. So this is actually the second episode I ever saw. And interestingly enough, when I first started watching it, I was listening to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, and probably shouldn't be pimping another podcast, but that's what was going on when I watched it. So the idea of eugenics has been in my mind ever since I first saw it. That was the key aspect that I locked into because of those circumstances. And it's interesting. I mean, eugenics is nothing new. I go back to the Dan Carlin thing. He was talking about the Spartans, during the Persian Wars and the Peloponnesian Wars, and they had, if you've ever seen 300, it's actually pretty close to accurate. What they used to do, with disfigured children or children born with handicaps, whatever the case may be, they would kind of just cast them off, and basically let them die on the vine. And it was just, the premium cuts of beef that they wanted, for warriors, for the most beautiful women. I mean, Helen of Troy, if you're familiar with the Iliad and the Odyssey, was actually Helen of Sparta before she was Helen of Troy. So it was actually just, the most beautiful, the most masculine, the most fit. So that's like the earliest, eugenics program I can think of. But it's happened multiple times throughout history. There's always that idea of refining, a society or a civilization, and making it the best it can be through breeding. More recently we've seen, Nazi Germany had it. The Lebensborn was a eugenics program, even though I think the most famous Lebensborn was the chick from ABBA. More interestingly, we've done it here in the United States. In the early 20th century, it was kind of something that was taught in the United States that, young boys and girls grew up with textbooks and stuff like that kind of supported the idea of, a boy's role as he grew up was to, produce sons, and he should pick the most beautiful, healthy women to do that with, preferably white, of course. This is pre-civil rights movement America. And the same thing went for the girls, find strong young men, you raise strong young sons, and that's how America would become great. And this was all kind of Scopes trial, before, the teaching of religion in school and all that. So it's not new. And when you look at it, it's not completely the worst thing ever. There's pros and cons to it, like everything. And some of the pros of eugenics would be, right off the top of your head, you're thinking the elimination of certain afflictions like Down syndrome or cystic fibrosis and those kind of genetic defects that we have, and the list goes on and on and on. The cons would be that it's probably going to lead to the targeting of ethnic groups, even without malice. So if you try and eliminate something, let's say like the sickle cell, that's going to target a specific group of people, mostly of African American descent, who can trace their ancestry back to a specific part of the African continent where they developed the sickle cell to deal with the high degree of malaria found in mosquitoes. So these things have developed over time as a protection, and they've also kind of warped nowadays that we have modern medicine where you don't that kind of gene structure doesn't actually help you anymore, it hurts you. So that was definitely a ramification you'd have to worry about. But more than likely, the biggest drawback would be that it would lead to something like what happens in the episode, where it's used to specifically target, an ethnic group or, a religious group or something like that. Mankind is flawed in that way, and it's undoubtable that that's what it would lead to. And probably even the best case scenario would have like ecological ramifications. So even if you use it and you put in a eugenics system that works out well, that doesn't target ethnic groups and eliminates all these things, and we get a healthier, more fit, more perfect society, if you want to put it that way. There's no telling what longer lifespans, smart, generations of genius people, because we can assume that it would probably be applied to intellectual abilities as well. What that would have. I mean, you think of like releasing bats to kill mosquitoes, and then you have a bat problem, right? So that's probably something that would happen with eugenics too. I mean, at the end of the day, really what it comes down to is we have to learn to accept our frailty, because eugenics is not an answer probably that you're ever going to see in your lifetime or from generations from now. So you gotta accept your frailty, appreciate it if you're healthy, and do what you can to help those who are afflicted by kind of those terrible things like Down syndrome or cystic fibrosis, like I said earlier, and the list goes on and on. Well, that's all I got for you this week, little buddies. I'll see you next time, and as always, remember, the Unexamined Show is not worth watching. All right, peace out.
Preacher don't preach.
All right, we are back. Thank you very much, Michael. Let's go ahead and basically wrap up the last little bit. So first off, this is the part where Ray drops down and just blasts the two quote-unquote roaches.
Yeah, and we get a little history. We find out why they are roaches, that basically they have shit DNA.
That's, what Doug Stamper tells him, because he wakes up in the cell. Doug Stamper comes in and talks to him, and he basically explains to them how everything happened. Like, this is the part where he talks about the soldiers in World War II and Vietnam and how this is like the perfect killing weapon, mass. But then he also talks about now the roaches. Now, they basically have shittier DNA, like you said.
Higher rates of cancer, MS, low IQ, sexual deviances.
Higher crime rates.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically that's it. So they're doing it for the protection of the human race, basically killing off... in the bloodline, killing off all the dummies. And
I'm sorry, but part of that kind of rang true for me.
No, stop it. First off, this would never happen.
But honestly, do we want like terrible birth defects to continue, or people suffering with certain things? At
the risk of slaughtering people because of things that they have in their blood? Yeah. And first off, no political party would ever sign off on this, because definitely certain political parties in any country need stupid people to vote for them, Republican or Democrat, whatever.
No, that I agree.
Or in other countries, like the people of power rely on the massive amounts of like moldable people.
Yes,
and that's who these would be. I feel like that they're killing off.
I agree. But when people do have certain things that aren't good, and you don't have to kill them off, you just... all I can think of is cauterize. That's not the word I'm looking for. You make it so they can't have babies.
So everybody with peanut allergies in the world, we just start feed everybody peanuts, and then 2 years we'll never have to worry about peanut allergies anymore?
We take out their eggs and their sperm. What am I trying to say? What's that word for that?
We take out their eggs and their sperm.
We make them sterile. That's the word.
All right.
I'm not talking about peanut allergies. I'm talking about, like, you know. But you know what? You do that and then other stuff develops.
Of course it will. But I definitely don't think sterilizing people with handicaps is a legitimate answer.
I would like to sterilize people with sexual deviances.
Like child molesters?
Yeah.
But how would you pick out bloodlines that give birth to that?
They figured it out.
Yeah, but isn't a lot of that based off of nurture, not nature?
You can have them, and then we tie their little tubies.
Okay. All right. So I just honestly have no idea what to even say to that. But this is the part where Arquette basically shows him who's fucking boss. He makes him blind. He basically toys around with him. Have your
mask reset or be incarcerated.
Yeah, that like you have. Those are the only choices, and it's not just being incarcerated. It's we're going to play on a loop all the terrible things that you've done. But
just like
you're gonna,
White Christmas.
But you're going to see them as human beings now, and you're going to smell the shit that, like, when they die, you're going to smell the blood. You're going to taste it. Like, all your senses are going to be attuned to what actually happened. And it's really not much of a choice. I mean, I don't care how fucking brave or self-righteous you are or principled or anything.
No, reset my mask.
Yeah, and maybe some people would say, do your fucking worst, and then would break anyway. Yeah. Like, nobody's surviving that.
No.
Like, I don't give a shit if you're the most principled person in the entire world. If you were the guy in White Christmas, like you were just saying, who got put on the loop where he was going to be there, we figured out was like 1,000,000+ years. Fuck that shit. No. After, God, if you were a fucking saint after 10 years, you know, maybe if you were the fucking Dalai Lama, you would make it 10, 20 years.
I would kill myself.
You wouldn't be able to. You're a fucking cookie at that point. It's crazy. But anyway, so that basically is the episode of Black Mirror. And yeah, I recognize that it's good. The concept of it, I think, is a beautiful concept. And it definitely leads to a lot of higher thinking. And I think that that's what's great about Black Mirror. It's just from a watchability aspect for me, it's not super high. Also, I think it's the second lowest rated one on IMDb.
But can you explain to me what happened in the end? So he's in his uniform and he's in front of that house that was in his dreams.
Yeah.
So he had his mask reset.
Yes.
But why is he in front of that house?
I think it's like a reward for whatever he's gone through. Whatever they've reset his mask to believe that he's gone through and witnessed and whoever he's killed, like this is like his leave where he gets sent back home, you know, for a short leave.
So that was his home.
But again, it might not be his home. It might be this, like they've put in his fake memory that he used to live at this house, and it might be one of a dozen sites that they used for all of the different people.
Maybe. I don't think it's that.
I don't know why it wouldn't be. Like there's no evidence that it is or isn't.
Well, this is just like when you said with that one episode that baby was definitely the other guy's.
Yeah, and I stand by that.
Right. This episode is implying that was a house that he owned or that he lived with that woman. I think is what.
But we know that
implied.
everything that they created was fake. They've told him that all, like, we're going to alter your memories. You're not going to remember anything before. You won't remember this conversation.
Okay.
So why wouldn't they just create fake houses instead of having to actually ship them back around the country to a house that is not his home anymore, that has been vandalized and fucked up beyond recognition? What would even be the point of that?
Well, this is the beauty of Black Mirror, is that two people can have completely different ideas about what is happening.
Scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate this episode?
7.5.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's like a 5 for me. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening again. Thank you to Michael and Brooky Brooky Shy Shy for coming on. You guys can check out, we have Taboo going on, we have Legion going on, we have Big Little Lies next week, and
can't wait.
We're doing also The Walking Dead now too. So those are the shows we got going on. Follow us on social media, whatever. Fuck all. I don't want to do the whole fucking spiel.
Let us know if there's a show that you want us to review.
That would be awesome, actually. Yes, like any upcoming shows in the next few months. I think we're talking about doing like Iron Fist. We'll probably do Game of Thrones. But yeah, we want to hear from you guys. Like,
Kristen and I are going to do Feud.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
But is that going to coincide with while you're doing Big Little Lies?
I don't know.
Those are conversations for off air.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bethany,
Happy Valentine's Day, little buddies.